Good morning. Welcome back. Well, would I say from the protest break, at least right here on Business Morning. It's good to have you back. Business Morning on Sunrise Daily is the program. I'm Ini John McQuarrie. We do about 30 minutes of business before we head back to the Sunrise Daily studio. Starting from the global space, oil is making the news these days. Oil features extended losses in a volatile session on Monday as fears of recession in top oil consumer, that's the United States, offset supply worries stemming from mounting tensions in the Middle East, which is the world's largest oil producing region. As of now, I think they're counting in about 25% of recession in the United States in a couple of months. Obviously, that affects a whole lot of things. Well, shares also tumbled across Asia. U.S. recession worries sent investors rushing from risk assets while wagering their rapid fire rate cuts that will be needed to rescue growth. Looking at the numbers here, we see a full 1% drop for Brent, the $76.03 a barrel, and then for WTI is even worse than that, 1.2% to $72.65. You notice that it will be odd to see Brent in 70s while you also have WTI there, but that's what we're having now. It's not a very common sight, and it's all because of the U.S. recession fears stemming from Friday's weak July payrolls report. That only adds to the Chinese demand concerns that have been lingering in the oil market for some time. Now, there's also the slumping diesel consumption in China, which is the world's biggest contributor to oil demand growth, and it's weighing on oil prices. Oil also came under pressure after OPEC Plus stuck to its plan. Remember, they're supposed to have that meeting to phase out voluntary production cuts from October, which means that supplies will rise back towards the end of this year. So, of course, this is affecting the market, affecting currency and all of that. Well, I don't think it's affecting Nigerian currency, but let's see how that has done. All through the strike period, we saw the first day of the strike, we saw a huge gain on in the NAFEM platform, and we thought perhaps that was because a lot of investors or a lot of consumption demand was not being made, and so we saw about 2 Naira gain on that, but obviously that has been wiped off because we see that for Friday, Naira closed at 1,617 Naira 8 kobo from 1,517 Naira. See there, almost 3% drop. And so I guess this could be one of the costs of the protests and the fears and uncertainty in the economy. We've been seeing the Naira drop, but obviously this is a huge one, almost 3% in one trading session. For NAFEX, it was a gain, but we know that's kind of artificial, not something you really want to put your eyes on. From the Naira now, we go to a bit of corporate. Odua Investment Company Limited has inaugurated its Lagos licensing office as part of its strategic effort to accelerate growth and expand its footprint. The building, which is a 62-year-old structure built by former Western Nigeria Corporation, will henceforth, according to the chairman of the company, Otumba Bimbo Ashiru, become a meeting point for all the organization's subsidiaries. Mr. Ashiru said that this new office is will act as a communication bridge between the holding company and the investment community.
We are into agriculture now. We have over 40,000 arable hectares, arable land that we are working on. Want to focus on cassava. What we are talking about now is that the food, we need food in this country, and we are focusing on that. We are investing more on that. We are focusing on agriculture and investigation. And the new age technology, we want the youths to be able to do things with us. We have this hub with the state government. We have some state government. Even our foundation is focusing on IT. And we want to have the hub to be able to drive it, and we are driving it from the central here. Not only that, we are into oil and gas. We had the marginal field, bitter marginal field, that by God's grace, hopefully by the first quarter of next year, we should be able to drill the first barrel. So we are focusing on hospital. You know, we have hospitality, we have real estate, and they have the good news for you that all our real estate business has been moved to Wema Board, which is wholly owned by Ojota Investment. So Wema Board is doing our real estate business. So the holding company is now a lean holdco. So Ojota Investment Company is now the holding company, and we have all our subsidiaries under the and that's what we are focusing on.
Well, a lot of people are also focusing on food. Apart from Odua investment, the National Stakeholders Consultative Meeting on 2025 Agriculture Budget Meeting has been hosted by ActionAid in partnership with major players in the agricultural value chain, which include GIZ, Oxfam Nigeria, Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, as well as ECOWAS Commission. And they're of the notion that the protest in the country is directly influenced by food inflation. And consequently, ActionAid Nigeria is asking the federal government and state government to enhance the country's agricultural sector and adopt a budget that will not be undermined by poor governance. They suggest aligning the National Agricultural Transformation and Innovation Policy with the targets and indicators of the biannual review to ensure Nigeria meets the Malabo commitments.
The monitoring of implementation of agricultural projects in the budget by all relevant stakeholders, such as Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, State Ministry of Agriculture, and Agriculture Committee in the National Assembly and State Assemblies, strengthens fisheries and agricultural value chain through a structured, innovative lending and regulatory model to reduce import in fish and aquatic products. And lastly, to promote private investment in agriculture through incentive and policy reviews.
Well, on the ongoing protests, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, is urging protesters to embrace dialogue while also requesting government to urgently address the seeming economic contradictions that are strangulating the organized private sector and stopping it from fulfilling its role as the engine of development. While the Director General, Chief Executive of NECA, Mr. Adewale Smart-Oyemide, stated this, commends the President Bola Tinubu, for addressing the nation on the protest. He believes that there are some interventions that should be prioritized among others, and he notes some of it to be issuing strict directives to regulatory agencies to prioritize regulation over current seeming unquenchable thirst, to impose penalties on already struggling businesses. There's also suspension of the sugar tax for the food and beverage sugar subsector to allow the sector to stabilize and contribute maximally to current effort at achieving food security. Also, sustaining the supply of crude oil to Dangote refinery as directed by the President to reduce the nation's propensity to import fuel, as well as curtailing the rising interest and inflation rate, while also addressing ongoing forex volatility. Well, talking about that issue of food security, of course, it's top on the list. Talking about why we have the protest on the street. Let's speak now to the Commissioner of Agriculture and Food Security, Otumba Tola Fasheru from Osun State. The Commissioner in Osun State. Perhaps he could tell us what's going there. Good morning, Commissioner. Thank you for your time. Well, we do know, interesting scenario in Osun State yesterday. We saw heavily armed security personnel providing security for hundreds of protesters who converged. I think one of the areas was Olaya Bridge, and they were conducting open church service. Interesting one. But how's the protest and how's the government handling the protest in Osun State?
Thank you very much, Ini. Thank you for having me. As you are aware, His Excellency, our governor, the governor of Osun State, Ashiwaju, Dr. Senator Nuruddin Jackson Ademola Adeleke, is a pro-people person, and what he did was to engage the people, these organizers, to make them understand that yes, there's hardship, there are issues, but we should not spoil what we already have going for us. And so whatever protest that they're going to be making, it should be peaceful. So that that went well with them. And of course, because they can see the body language of the governor, they can see what he has been doing, the welfare policy that he has been doing, injecting billions of naira into the economy, paying the workers as at when due, meeting up the obligations of the pensioners, that which was not the case before he came in, paying even arrears of salaries, and all of that. So they understand that yes, this governor means well for them. We're paying bursary to the students and all. With this busing monies to the cooperative societies. And he also believes that Osun economy should be for the Osun people. And so we have the local content in the project that we are implementing. You see the road projects going on, the infrastructure. You see what we are doing, even in a whole lot of things, agriculture, ensuring that at least there is things are made better and people can see his efforts. Generally, I think that's the sum total, and of course, engaging the security apparatus in the state, working with them to ensure that law and order is preserved.
Yeah. So since you're Commissioner of Agriculture, and we know that food inflation is a major driver of the agitation and the protest. We'd like to know we know the federal government has put a 150 import-free day, 150-day import-free duty for food to be imported in the country. I think there was a clarification that going to end in September. We'd like to know what Osun State is doing for the people. At least I'm sure that if the people have food, affordable food, perhaps some of that they may not even join the protest.
Yeah, absolutely. Osun State, we take the issue of food security as a very, put in the front line. And you see, my governor was the first governor to set up a food security committee to ensure that we galvanize input from various sectors on the way to address these problems. And the committee had submitted their recommendations, and immediately His Excellency set up the implementation committee, and they're already at work. And a lot of these recommendations have been put to operation. One of the things they suggested, of course, was mechanization of our farms, tractorization, and all of that. You can see that we brought in tractors now. We had delivery of tractors for the farmers, and some of the issues of the issue of security as well in the farms. We brought together the stakeholders, and then, of course, the security apparatus, every one of them, the Amotekun, the civil defense, the police, the army, the Air Force, all of them, to ensure that, yes, we have security in the farms, and that our people are able to go to farm without any fear of molestation. Again, you see some of the palliatives that have been distributed. We ensure that it got down to the lowest level. Lowest level. Yeah. Am I on?
Mr. Fasheru,
am I on?
Hello, Mr. Fasheru.
Hello.
Okay. I wonder what happened there. I think there was an interruption. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Well, it looks like we have a little...
Hello?
Okay, can you hear me, Mr.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, do you want to conclude your thoughts?
Yes, so basically we're working on that. Then we're putting together now a food mat to ensure that food gets to our people at relatively moderate prices. We are also working on engaging the traditional rulers to engage the market women, everyone working together to see that we can manage the prices so it doesn't go out of hand. So, these are efforts.
So when
we are
you
also ensuring that fertilizers, inputs like fertilizers, chemicals, seedlings are made available to our farmers across the board.
All right, Mr.
Supporting
Fashion.
every sector.
All right, Mr. Fashion, when you say manage the prices, perhaps other states could learn. How do you manage the prices?
Well, basically, like I said, we're working with our traditional rulers. It's a voluntary thing. It's an understanding of the times. And we're engaging the market associations, on voluntary price control. So that they just, we've seen a lot of arbitrary price increases all over the country. People over profiteering. And so we are engaging our market associations and then bringing in our traditional rulers. So that at the end of the day, we need a peaceful state. We need a state that people can feed well, a robust economy, And so it's our job, it's everybody's job, And that's what we're doing. And then, of course, we're giving incentives to them. And they can see what we are doing. They can feel the governor. They can see his move. They can see his passion. And then, of course, we are talking about the home gardens. Everybody, we need to do the bit that we can do. The vegetables, pepper, all those things. We can still do all of that in the back of our houses. And we're doing desensitization.
All right, Mr. Bashir.
So it's a real work. It's an intentional work. Yes.
So obviously, Mr. Bashir, is an intentional one. Now, one of the points that have been used to criticize President Bola Tinubu's speech yesterday was that he did not directly attend to the request of the protesters. There was no timeline to say maybe in this amount of months you should expect this and all of that. In Osun State, do you have timelines as to what people can expect? And then what can the nation expect from Osun State? I mean, of course, after satisfying domestic demands when it comes to food.
In Osun State, we are acting. I mean, it's a daily work. It's something that keeps us busy. It's something that we think about. It's something that the Excellency always is asking me and giving directives, moving. You can see 15 of committees here, looking over it, ensuring that it gives this support. So we are acting immediately. We are getting fresh lands, fresh farmlands across the local government. We said each of the local government must deliver a minimum of 1,000 hectares. At the end of the day, we're getting about 31,000 hectares, which we are engaging youth, agripreneurs, training them. These are things that we're already doing. These are things that we're already doing. So, and of course, we know that time is of essence. And everybody can see we're carrying, and most of the time I'm on the media, people are engaging us, and we're telling them, if you need this support, already we have cassava stems. We're calling on the cassava growers, come and get your stems, come and plant. We need to boost these things, and in a short while, the supply will be there. The supply will be there, and then of course automatically, things will get better. But while we're doing all of this, people are seeing what we're doing. And we're doing palliatives here and there to ensure that our people are not hungry. We do not want hunger in Osun. And of course, there's peace. You notice that Osun State is one of the most, I will even say, the most peaceful state in the whole of the Federation. So these are efforts that we are making, and they can see it beyond lip service.
All right, Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture and Food Security in Osun State, Mr. Fola Fasheru. Thank you so much, and wish you the very best.
Thank you, Ine. Thank you for having me.
Let's take a break. When we come back, perhaps we can have a feel of what's going on in the field right here on Business Morning. Stay with us. Welcome back to Watching Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. Let's get our eyes on the streets and see what's happening. We have Emmanuel Ezekiel at Ojota. I'm sure if you're following the news right here on Channels Television, you would have heard the drama that took place there yesterday. But let's see what's happening. Emmanuel, I wonder if you can hear me. What's happening in Ojota? Yesterday, we heard hoodlums chased away the protesters. So what's happening there this morning?
Well, right now, the protesters have gathered again. At the moment, a lesser number, but of course they are here. And you can see the cameraman zooming. They are actually on the other side of the traffic coming from K2, connecting to on top of the bridge. But they're in their numbers, and they seem to be increasing by the minute. Their request remains, and let's not forget quickly that the president did address the nation today. But from what I've heard from these protesters, it does appear that they are not satisfied with what has come from Mr. President. And then they are out here again. In fact, some of the comments here made by some of the those who have addressed the protesters here did say that more people should come out. But right behind me, if the cameraman can zoom right on the road, you would see vehicular traffic, almost normal vehicular traffic that you would see on a regular day, business day, the beginning of the week, Monday, like today. And it just shows how the protest has been received, has been dispensed in Lagos. And here, the protesters, like I said earlier, very few, lesser than what I actually covered the day before and yesterday that was here.
All right, Emmanuel.
You can see there are very few, but their statements are very clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Emmanuel. I wanted to ask about yesterday, there was a bit of drama right there where we saw people whom they called hoodlums chasing the protesters away, and there was heavy security presence. So I wonder what the security presence is like today, and then do we have any suspicious looking group of people apart from the protesters?
Right now, at the moment, the security presence, not as heavy as the last few days, but the security presence is here. And right behind, on the other side of Ojota, you have this police personnel cordoning off the road, which now I understand is to stop the protesters from going away from the protest ground as dispensed by the courts, restricting them to the Ganifawa Imi Park. But in terms of vicious-looking people, there ain't anybody like that at the moment. What we have here are just bystanders, the real protesters, the security personnel consisting of the Nigerian police, the Lagos Neighborhood Security Corps, and of course the NSCDC, which is the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. And that's the situation right now, and everywhere is calm. And from the look of things, it does appear that more people are gathering, bystanders are increasing, and those onlookers are just there observing what is going on.
All right,
in terms of security challenge or security breach, right now, nothing of sort.
All right, Emmanuel, thank you so much for that update. Subsequently, of course, I'm sure you would be called upon on our different programs.
Thank you.
So that's it. That's Ojota this morning. You just have to stick on to Channels Television. We'll give you updates from other parts to see whether they are protesters or not. And, of course, the interaction between the police personnel and protesters is also very important. Let's just look at the market right now before we head back to the Sunrise Daily studio. Last week, well, the good thing is that there was trading going on in spite of the protests, especially on Thursday when physical movement was lean. The markets, that's the NGX, was still trading, even though it closed in the red. And it was 4 straight days of negative trade. Just one positive was not enough to erase that positive, the negative trade of the 4 days. So at the close of trade last week, we did see a drop in the all-share index, 0.46%. and still at 97,000, haven't lost the 100,000 and 98. And the equity cap at 55.49 trillion naira. Activity was mostly green. Volume alone was in the red at 3.39. That's for the week. 44,814. Sectors profit taking was the game of the day last week, and we did see some majors getting hit by profit taking. Right, the Fugas topped that list. Consumer goods, I think Dangote was one of those that got hit. Insurance closed, however, in the positive 1.59. Oil and gas recovered. Japo Gold was on the negative, but O&O recovered, and really brought on the shine to that sector. So it was up 4.27%. Top gainers, Alta Briscoe, O&O last week came through for the counter. Industrial and medical gases also was part of the top gainers, while the flip side for the top losers, United Cap and Mecure, well, you think some of those stocks people don't remember where it got attention, and Thomas White also did get that. Top trades for the week: Fidelity Bank, UBA, Zenith Bank, the top trades for the week. We'll see what this week holds. It's a fresh week, and the good thing is that whether there's protest or not, a lot of trading takes place virtually now, so we still see a lot of activities. But right now, let's head back to the Sunrise Daily Studios for more conversations.